It is so wonderful when you get to specify the things that you really, in a very particular way, want, and they come. That's masterful creating. You really can have the specifics that you've chosen. And it gets really fun when it starts happening that way. So keep holding that thought. Don't give up on that, because that's really delicious too. But what you're discovering is your desire is enough in place, and your allowing is enough in place, that you are letting the essence of what you want in. But there's another thing that we want to suggest, and that is, so you know what you don't want, you know what you do want. So you've, over your lifetime, and even before you got into this body, you have been contributing to that vortex, to that vibrational reality. It's like putting the ingredients in one by one. In other words, you feel insecure, you want a feeling of security. You feel bored, you want something of interest. You feel misunderstood, you want to be understood and you want to understand. You're missing this, you want that. In other words, a lot of details have gone into this vortex, and the cooperative components have been gathered. And really, when you think about it, the contents of your vortex could be nearly, in a see it, hear it, touch it, smell it, taste it way, unrecognizable to you, because that vortex is becoming. It is becoming. And so the more in tune you stay with your vortex, it's like the more up to speed with your evolving components you become, so that you become a more sophisticated, more sensitive perceiver of the unfolding of it. And that's really what you intended. None of you said, I'll go, I'll see, I'll want, and I'll get it. Because that's like the short version that leaves out all the savoring and all the basking and all the delicious moments in time. Instead, you said, I'll go and I'll define and I'll define and I'll define and I'll define, and I'll become and I'll become and I'll become and I'll become. And I'll allow and I'll allow and I'll allow and I'll allow, and I'll like all of it, and I'll just get better and better and better at it, because the universe is going to surprise and delight me more and more and more and more and more as I go. Sometimes you want the surprise. Sometimes you want it to be exactly as you defined it, but you get to have it however you want it, you see. You like variety. So would you say that on the whole, that you really recognize that things are working out for you? If you could really have it exactly the way you want it, would you say, it's all right if it sort of kind of turns out what I wanted and I like that too? Or would you say, I really prefer it when it works out exactly as I have defined it, because I'm the creator of my own reality? In other words, it's nice to say it's okay. It's also nice to say it's okay and getting better. It's nice to say I'm good at this. It's also nice to say I'm good at this and getting gooder. And so it's like this. Your vortex is escalating. It's becoming more and more and more and more and more. And so the more you look for existing matches, the more up to speed you stay with your vortex. Do you know? You're going to like this. You didn't see this coming. A lot of that specificity that you come to, you're receiving from your vortex. Sometimes when you are conjuring, when you're identifying what you want, the reason that it's coming as inspiration from what's already queued up in there. That's where a lot of that comes from. You see, what we're wanting to do is to soften your sense that it's you and it's your inner being, and that you've got something that you're proving. It's you and your inner being. You're working in concert with each other. You're not trying to rise to something or become something that you're not. That's just inevitable. That's not the quest. None of you came and said, I'm flawed and inferior, and I'm here in order to get over that. All of you said, I'm here to decide and to choose and to experience and to love and to expand. And so it's supposed to be fun. It's supposed to be fun. It's like, I want to be happy, and happiness to me looks like this and this and this, so I'll get this and this and this, and then I'll be happy. But think about why. It's because it's coming from the lack side of the equation. How it really works is I'm finding existing things that I'm happy about, because I could never stop. I have never for a moment stopped creating the vortex. That's step one. And my inner being has never stopped gathering the cooperative components. So as I'm making this match and feeling good about that and liking that and complimenting that and appreciating that and savoring this and loving this, and as that's the majority of what's going through my mind as I'm moving through my days, then I'm doing the calibration to what's there. And then inspired things come to me, and thoughts come to me, and beautiful ideas come to me about everything, so that I'm enjoying the journey. I'm enjoying the process of the thoughts turning to things. Most humans just want the things, and then they'll think happy thoughts about the things. Just give me the things, and then I'll have happy thoughts about them. That's not why you came. You said, I want to enjoy the process of being who I am, and who I am is a creator, and a creator is what I do. I mold it into place. I feel the offness. I'm not quite right. That's better. That's better. Until it's not long, really. It's not long before you feel surrounded by cooperative components that are just at the perfect timing coming into your experience, not to help you accomplish something, but for the pleasure of the moment in which you perceive them, and for the step along the way that they are also. Yeah. And we want to add this to it. Here comes a delight that is also a surprise. And there's not this attitude of, I accomplished that. I just whipped that right into place. It's not like that, because you've evolved past that. Now you're in that soft place of knowing you can be or do or have anything. So now this surprising and delightful thing is in your experience. And then as you're taking it in and savoring it, in this day and the next, what starts wafting into your mind is, I remember when I wanted that. I remember asking about that, but it's been quite a while since I asked about that. But I remember that thing that hasn't been active in my vibration for a long time. I remember that moment in time when I asked for that. Then it's all the more delicious as you start feeling the fullness, the I did thisness of it. I did this. Coming into the realization of who you are. There's just nothing more delicious than that. And everything that comes to you is evidence of who you are. And when you start doing it on purpose, it's delicious on steroids. Yeah? We would like to say that resistance is not a bad thing. Resistance is always necessary in the experience of an eternal creator, because you're always reaching just beyond where you are. So the potential of not being ready for what you've just asked for is ever present. So the relaxing into the perfection of step 1 and step 3, step 1, 2, 3, relaxing into that as it's a good thing, it's a right thing. When we first began explaining this to Esther and she was really starting to get it, and something wonderful would happen, she said, I did that. And when something not so wonderful would happen, she would say, I did that too. And the letting the resistance be all right, and the understanding that I am a calibrator that is calibrating to something that is less and less and less resistance, which was the whole point of the emotional scale that we talk about, so that you can feel your levels of resistance. But what practical advice would we give? Is newly offered. So something happens and you can feel your resistance because you're irritated at least, and furious at most, or terrified at most. In other words, you're having an emotional response as the indicator of resistance. Well, that indication could not even happen if there were not this completed gathering of cooperative components. In other words, your emotions couldn't even be if there were not resistance that caused it to be. So every emotion that you feel is about your allowing or resisting being what this recent experience has caused you to be. So the practical encouragement that we are offering is, so something happens and you feel some negative emotion, fill in the blank, whatever you want it to be here, which means that's where you're focused right now. And it's okay that that's where you're focused, because you live in a world, you've got eyes, you've got ears, you have sensors. You are aware of your environment, and here you are participating in something, and let's say naturally, but you don't want to escalate it, and you don't want to keep it going, and you don't want it to be more if it doesn't feel good. And so what you do is you say, well, I can tell by the way I feel, because my emotions are giving me the indicator of my level of resistance. I can feel that I have some resistance going on here because of where I'm focused. I'm going to focus on existing matches to my vortex. Not existing matches to what is. That's what's got me all wadded up here. Not existing matches to what that one and that one and that one and that one say is true or say I should do. No. It's existing matches to who I really am, to the fullness of who I really am. So what's an existing match? It's something that feels really good when you think about it. And the reason that we say existing matches, not something you're still striving for or hoping for. There's resistance in those subjects. No, something that's easy. Like that bird, that tree, that waterfall, that fragrance, that delicious memory, that easy match. That easy match. Just focus on the easy match, and you'll get so within seconds you can stop the escalation of the resistance and begin the escalations of the allowance. Reach for an existing match. What's working for me right now, really? What's working for me? What's working for me? The word that Jerry put in all the time with us, practical. Practical meaning it's at my fingertips and it will occur to me and it will be easy to do. The reason that we're softer than that, we're just saying reach for an existing match. And it has to be meaningful to you. So it can be something that you didn't have that you accomplished. It could be that lover that you wanted and didn't have and suffered over, but then figured it out and now you've got it. It could be anything, but an existing match, something that's easy to find and easy to feel, something that's already has a good deal of momentum to it, so that once you focus on it, it sucks you in easily, because you just find a little bit of it and you become the immediate match to it. And as soon as you match up with your inner being, this is something really, we've not said this in this way before. Once you match up, once you calibrate to who your inner being really is, the momentum of that now escalation, that now trending and momentum, it really moves fast. And in this world today, you chose it and you know it, and it's a good thing, not a bad thing. But that negative trending, that moves fast too, because of the amount of people that are worried and focused and pushing against a lot of things. It is in no way comparable to the source energy calibration, but it's big. It's like there is the potential of a sort of ringing that happens, and then an immediate adjusting to bring it back into balance. And it's like that. You're sort of riding your knob to keep the sound system from squealing. That's what you're doing by, first of all, having your hand on the knob, by knowing that there is one, by knowing that you are in charge of it and that you get to control your level of, yeah? Yeah. Really good.